Welcome to Global Lives. We are here again. And every time we come to speak to you, we bring a topic of interest to global citizens and also a specialist from our team to help us navigate through a specific program or understand more about the work that we do. In this Global Live, I will be joined by the CEO of Global Citizen Solutions, Patricia Casaburi. Welcome, Patricia. Thank you for being here and helping us to cover the most common questions regarding moving to Europe. So just to guide our viewers through this live, it should take no longer than 40 minutes with a Q&A session at the end. We are live from YouTube, from LinkedIn and Facebook. However, if you're not able to stay all the way till the end, via our chat here, you will be able to connect with a member of our team. So drop your question there and someone will be answering. And finally, if you haven't already done so, give us a like to help this video circulate and help more people searching the subject of moving to Europe. So once again, Patricia, thank you for being here with us and sharing your experience helping countless clients of Global Citizen Solutions help reach Europe over the last decade. Hi, Patricia. You mute, Patricia.
Hi, sorry about that.
It's okay. It happens.
Infamous sentence in the word. Sorry about that. Well, thanks for having me, Giselle. It's a pleasure to be here, and let's try to connect with as many people as possible.
Great. So shall we talk about moving to Europe? But I would like to start with your personal experience. Because Patricia, you're the CEO of Global Citizen Solutions, and you helped many families and individuals to relocate and secure their future in other countries. But you also moved all the way from Brazil to the UK, and then later from the UK to Portugal, and those were completely different stages of your life. Are you able to share some experience with our viewers on the challenges that you had experience in the past?
Yes, certainly. Gosh, my move to the UK does feel like a lifetime away. I moved very still young. The motivation at the time was to study, find a good courses to continue the education, if you will. I just finished a post-grad and I was in love with London from previous trips. And yeah, I moved to London and fell in love with the lifestyle and cheap flights and traveling around Europe. And it was a very magical experience. I was there for in total 2 years and had a very good career and then started the company and eventually made sense to be in Portugal full time. But this move was completely different, less, let's say, spare of the moment, a lot more grounded and settled. Obviously, I have a child who's 8 now, but when we moved here, he was 5. So a lot of it revolves around, finding a good school and kind of setting around pretty much around the kids' lives. So yeah, very, very different. One thing that I'd say that both experiences have in common is that no matter how organized you are, it's always good to get help, from a friend or professionals. There's so many questions that pop into your mind. When I moved to the UK, it was all about finding a flat and how hard it was to rent a place and all of that. And obviously, as you grow up, the problems or the situations or the things to consider are much wider and greater and kind of ways, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess regardless of your move and your at the stage of your life, you have to do your research
Absolutely.
before you move abroad. You need to talk to people. You need to talk to specialists. So Patricia, based on what you said, what you shared with us just now, what do you think is the first step for people that are looking to move to Europe?
It's a good question. So many answers. Because it's also very personal and
Mm,
reliant on people's personal projects and objectives. So the first thing is try to answer the question, what it is that you're looking for. People would always have slightly different objectives, if you will. So for some people, it's important to find a place to raise a family or to retire or to kind of shift their business interest or create a new hub. Sometimes it's having a clear path to having citizenship to kind of improve your kind of possibilities in terms of places of work or access to different education. So first, I think jotted down like your life questions and then use that as a drawing board to start your research.
yeah,
There's so much out there, but it is also hugely helpful to connect. If you don't have a friend that will be able to kind of advise you on all of that, there's a bunch of firms out there. They'll be able to answer some key questions and then start getting you into kind of a bit of a plan and narrowing down and zooming in on the things that really kind of matter to you.
yeah. Yeah, I totally understand it, and I think because there's so many different situations, so maybe perhaps what we could do now is that I give some hypothetical situations of people that are looking to move, and then you can perhaps tell us what the best options are for those situations that I will share with you now. But firstly, I just want to say we have lots of very interesting comments here in the chat. The chat is super busy. Um, Alex Kiforenko. Yes, of course, you can ask a question here. This is for you to ask, and our team will be answering you shortly. So let's go back to our yeah. Oh no, a bit of echo here. No, it's me. Okay, so let's go get right into it. You're welcome, Alex. Uh, First and foremost, right? So when you're planning to move somewhere, you look into a visa first thing, and it is definitely the first worry on people's minds. So where they can live legally, what their options are. So let's pretend that I'm looking into citizenship by investment or residency by investment programs to fuel my big move. What are the best options for me, Patricia? Are you able to give me an overview of the programs that Global Citizen Solutions work with?
Yeah, I think we can even take a little bit of a slight kind of step back. So, first you need to look at your flexibility and if you're effectively, being able to move full time. And then if that's the case, there's a number of either citizenship, like you mentioned, or residency by investment. But they also give you the flexibility should something happen or that you'll be able to, go back to your country, move somewhere else if work kind of leads it that way, and keeping a very clear path to getting an objective. So let's say if you're looking for very fast citizenship from a European country, I'd say Malta is probably your best bet. It's the quickest kind of route to EU citizenship. It kind of varies. You go to 12 to 36 months, depending on your kind of investment outlay of residency, and then you move straight into nationality application. So that's
Okay.
very neat. It does kind of carry fairly, high investment. So it's not often it's not available for all, of course, but it's something to consider. If you're looking for, I don't know, speed. um, but then again, if you'd love to have European citizenship, um, but it's something that you could kind of, build towards it, then you have an array of options in Europe, from Portugal, Spain, Greece, Ireland, and now Italy just relaunched their program, and also there's some in Europe as well. They offer really, really different options. So there's a number of possibilities for you.
Okay.
In so different. So like we said, we talked about Malta having kind of a fast track citizenship by investment program. Then on the residency side, um, most of the countries have similar investment thresholds, if you will. They tend to be, anything from like 250 to 1 million to 2 million euros investment initially in exchange for residency, which will give you the opportunity to live in the country or not, which is very interesting as well. So it gives you that flexibility should like kind of live in the country. Portugal is definitely the most popular, I would say, residency program by investment in Europe. Mm, For, well, for two reasons. I think the options, if you will, of investment are very attractive, and it's at a kind of very low price point of 250 to 280 in real estate, ranging all the way to 500,000, and investment funds
Yeah.
as well. But it's also the program that has the most kind of clear path to citizenship. So you would have to hold this residency for 5 years, and after that, provided you meet some criteria of, of passing a pre-Portuguese test, you would be able to apply for nationality. Then we have a neighboring country, Spain, which is a very kind of similar um, mechanism of investment and application. The main difference between Portugal and Spain, I would say, is on the kind of nationality piece. Um, so in Spain, you would have all the same rights in terms of being able to work, access to
Mhm.
healthcare, study, and all of that, same as Portugal. However, if your kind of the goalpost is resident nationality, then you would really look to spend at least half of the year in Spain for 10 years before you can effectively apply for nationality. Then we have Greece, which is a very strong contender as well, I'd say, in this kind of range of options. Also, investment begin at 250,000 as well, and they go similar to Portugal from real estate to venture capital funds. Processing time is fairly quick, but then for nationality, the time stay is 7 years, and there's some physical residency also required. Um, Italy, they were quite late party. They had a program that was a little bit not as attractive as the others, but recently they actually introduced some other ways. They removed the need to actually reside in Italy, although from this life here, the focus is a little bit on actually spending time in the country, but it's also great to be able to have the flexibility. So the Italian program now starts on a very low investment threshold of 250,000 and have zero stay requirements, which is kind of exciting. although obviously you would be able to live in Italy, absolutely. But in the nationality part, it's about 10 years, fairly similar to the Spanish program.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Patricia, that was a great overview. There's a lot of information there. And thank you for packing all together for our viewers. So for all of you that are still catching up with all the minimum required investments and would like to refresh on that, we have a video that explains all about those programs that Patricia just explained, and our production team will share the link right now with you on the chat. And the only program that we're not covering in this video is the Italian Investor Visa, the Italian Golden Visa. However, we have a Medium article fresh out of the oven that Patricia wrote about, giving the lowdown of the visa, explaining the minimum requirements, the advantages, and everything else that you need to know. So our production team will also share the article with you, and I recommend you to read it. Right, so let's go back to our game. So here I can see the videos now. Sorry, just no one. Yes, people will answer your questions, guys. So there are many questions here. Just wait. Someone will come and answer. Right, so let's go back to our game here, Patricia. I'm looking to relocate with my family, and the children are still in school. Where can I research the best countries offering a high standard education, and what are my best options there?
Okay, wow. My personal experience kind of revolves around the schooling system in the UK and Portugal. But I did my homework since I knew I would be talking with you today. So UNICEF has actually published a very useful rank of the kind of, I think, 30 plus best family-friendly countries in the world. For this exercise here, I'm focusing primarily in the European countries. So I guess unsurprisingly, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, they kind of hang fairly highly on the list. Estonia also features very well positioned on UNICEF's list. And in Portugal, they're all kind of in the top 5 places in the league of the family-friendly policies countries. And some of the things that take into account is, good paid leave for mothers and fathers, and being able to share the kind of first initial years. Good childcare centers and solutions for young families. So this is something that is, high, very much so valuable, that having the opportunity to kind of be with the kids without the pressure. And in Portugal, in terms of maternity and paternity leave, it's a little bit more conservative. However, they have a very good ecosystem, very good quality education, both on the kind of public and private schooling. It's quite impressive and surprising. I didn't know until we started working in this industry, and how vast and good the ecosystem of international bilingual schools in Portugal is. It's very attractive and kind of positions kids really well if they want to go back to their original countries eventually, because you're learning on the IB and so on. So, and obviously having a residency in Europe opens up many doors for higher education in universities. So yeah, all around, I think it's exciting.
It is. is yeah, I can definitely echo that sentiment, as a mother as well, and my child is in school years. But I think that list is very useful, Patricia, and so we'll get our team to share it here on the chat as well. And yes, so it will be shared not only on the YouTube chat, because our team in our viewers on LinkedIn are also asking to see the links here. So I'm loving it. Lots of engagements, lots of very good questions. Hello from Ireland, hello from Austin. What else here? Yeah, so yeah, really, really good. So thank you all for being here. So fine, and then I think the next point that is very good for us to cover, Patricia, would be the matter of safety. Would you be able to tell us which are the safest countries in Europe? Because I think a lot of people will be pondering that question when they start planning that move to any European nation.
Yeah, wow, certainly. We kind of take it for granted after a while, after living in Europe for so long. We do like here Global Citizen Solutions indexes. So we also took a look, which helps us validate our personal experience. So there's a Global Peace Index, which was published this year, and they talk about it kind of, they again rank the 10 top safest countries in the world, and 7 European countries are actually top the
In
list.
Europe.
So
Wow.
yeah, so we have like Iceland again, Ireland, Denmark, Austria, gosh, I'm gonna try Portugal, Slovenia, Czech Republic. So, I mean, obviously, my experience from working with our clients, safety really tops up quite highly, and it's safety in a number of ways. So, it can be, about just walking on the street at night, or being your kids being able to get public transport to school, or just as a woman checking by yourself to a hotel, or feeling comfortable going to a restaurant. Is a number of things. So I'd say, again, if this is something that is a huge concern. Also, another thing that I think is hugely important to talk about, coming from places like Brazil, even though we do have gun controls, you know, gun crimes, is a reality, which is something that is so refreshing in Europe that's not part of our day to day. So, but again, talk to other people living in the country that you're considering moving to, and see how they feel and what they think. There's a lot of communities out there, online communities, that will help you also to navigate this specific privacy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's again something else from personal experience. It's if you're looking for safety is something you value in your research, you should definitely consider Europe and the Global Peace Index that Patricia just mentioned will also be shared here, so you can see it's already there. So you can check it by yourself. There was one question here from Ali. How do we access the video you were mentioning? I lost the signal. So Ali, if you scroll up, the video is there. You should, because all the questions and the answers are still there, and you'll be able to see it. And it was posted under Global Citizen Solutions. Right. So our last hypothetical scenario here, Patricia, it's for retirees. So if I'm looking to retire with my husband, are there countries with special programs for retirees?
Yes, oh, definitely. So many choices. This one we actually we put together our own index. It's called the Global Retirement Index, and we kind of took into account different factors, which we think from conversations that we had with our clients that kind of relevant to most people are looking to move into a more sunny or whatever it is your motivation to move. So Spain, Malta, and Portugal, they seem to kind of offer have the countries. They are the countries with the most kind of combined factors for people looking to retire. So, and we tend to focus on healthcare. All of these countries have, very good quality healthcare. It's in most countries of these countries, it's free or heavily subsidized. But also, even when you kind of opt or for private healthcare, it is a lot more accessible than some countries, like famously the US that I can think of, but equally Brazil, some places in Latin, where it's become so expensive. Then obviously quality of life, and that kind of, it's a much kind of wider, the elements are much wider. So from good weather to quality of outdoor spaces, possibilities of good hikes, and just will help you to keep in good health, I guess. Excellent food, wine, culture, history. So for the quality of life piece, we do look at a kind of all-encompassing lifestyle. And then another factor that we find that's quite important, although we hear that a lot, oh, I don't want to be with expats. If I move to a new country, I just want to kind of meet all these new local people. And clearly this is always going to be an option. But often, you're removing yourself from what you know and your friends and your community, a lot of time your families. So it is lovely to be able to move to a country that kind of traditionally has been kind of welcoming expats for years, and it does make for like an easier landing or transition. So all of these countries will provide this kind of wholesome retirement plan, I guess. You are mute now, Jean. It's your turn to be muted.
That's me. Sorry. We get so excited that we forgot to unsilence the microphone. Patricia, thank you. That was great. And the Global Retirement Index, I don't think I provided my team with that link. I'm really sorry, but it's super easy. You just Google 2022 Global Retirement Index and you see exactly what Patricia's talking about. And it's great that we have Spain, Malta, and Portugal ranking so high. Right. So we have noticed that we have a lot of viewers from the USA. So I'd like to ask Patricia, on your view, what would you consider the best options for Americans looking to live in Europe?
I'm sorry, I really don't like giving this, it depends, but it really does. On what it is that you're personally looking for, your personal circumstances. But I can give you some key insights on the best countries in Europe and what they can offer you. Each country will have its own sets of appeal for different people. But we also came up with something kind of a tool to help you compare and contrast, if you will. So we rank countries using different metrics, and they take into account environmental sustainability, cost of living, infrastructure, and one that's kind of ever so often, or more and more actually, important is a conversation about personal and political freedoms. So this we call the Global Passport Index, and I really like you to take a look. So we base the passport index slightly different than access to countries, but we kind of like to look at the ability index, obviously, which is a big factor for a lot of people moving, the investment index, and the quality of life index. But in this last one is particularly useful for people looking to, this big lifestyle change. And it's super helpful to kind of find out how welcoming and open certain countries are to migrant communities. So
Sure.
I hope.
Here's yeah, we can see the global, the quality of life index from the Global Passport Index here. There's also the Enhanced Mobility Investment Index. So it's a very good tool, and I totally recommend you to play around here and look and then click on the country profile, and you will get basically a lot of information that you need when you're planning your move to Europe. You're right, Patricia. It's a very useful tool. Let's have a look here. So first, all the way to, we have Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Canada, Germany, Netherlands, New Zealand, UK on the 8th position, 9th Spain, 10th Austria, 11th Ireland, 12th Portugal. That's pretty good. And a lot of them are in Europe.
Yeah, pretty good. Well, as if you can see, if you kind of compare and contrast with UNICEF or the Global Peace Index, there's definitely consistency there. So I'm very proud of our passport index, because I think we managed to get all together and get a really good way of narrowing it down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's very useful. And so Marina, she's asking, can you post the link for Quality of Life Index? Thanks. So production team, please. Oh no, it's already shared here. Marina, so just scroll up and you'll see under Global Citizen Solutions, yeah, there you go. Thank you. You guys are very efficient. Patricia, thank you for this very insightful conversation. This was great. We are near the end, but since we have a few minutes, I'd like to get some questions here from our chat, and then I'll throw them over to you. I will make a compilation, right, of the 3 most common questions, because we don't have time to answer them all. However, please remind that our team is answering. I've said that countless times. Our team is answering your questions here. However, if the question hasn't been answered, do not worry. Do not worry. Even at the end of the live, we will be online answering your questions, and you will be on the comments of the video once it is published. Okay, so just leave your question there. So let's go. I'm gonna have a look here quickly. Hang on a sec. So first question. So which countries in Europe offer the best high rates of employment?
Well, I don't actually, I won't be able to zero in a particular country, but what I can tell you is, and this is possibly worldwide, there is a shortage of talent worldwide. So at the moment, there's a lot of opportunities in Europe. But my top tip is always look at your personal circumstance, and plan the financial side of your move. So if you're looking to retire here, understand the cost of living in the country. Obviously, this question is about employment, but the same rationale would apply for, for how you're going to support yourself. Is your idea to come and look for a job, understand the kind of the salaries and the cost of living again, or if you're going to be working, if your income still coming, from where you're currently employed. So you have to combine that and also with the kind of the options of visas available. So there's a lot of things to investigate, I guess. From there's a lot of like high skilled visas available, and see or startup opportunities. There's so much going on, like I said, in Europe. But there's plenty of remote work options as well in startups. Demand, they have like they're looking for specific skill set. But I think it's always, guys, sorry, is research, research, research. There's some countries that are stronger in some industries than others, and you should definitely factor that in when you're thinking about it.
Yeah, and talk to specialists, definitely. Okay, so next question, Patricia. How can I apply for a visa to live in the EU country moving from the USA?
Well, again, so you obviously have a choice of doing one of the visas that we talked earlier, which would be like a golden visa or a residency or citizenship by investment, and that's kind of in a way very clear cut, and it gives you all that flexibility. If you're looking to move here full time and start life, most European countries will have work residency visas or work permits or high skilled or nomad visas, self-employed or startup. Again, let's apply to your plans, and then you can look at kind of the different visas in countries that you'd like to move. So combine the good weather with maybe what you're intending to do, and that gives it a kind of an easy way to narrow it down. But most countries, Spain, Portugal, Malta, will have residency options to explore. And then to move here, most times you need to start this research. The only thing that I would say, please don't do it, is move here and then try to figure out that you want to stay, because this is very important. So usually the planning needs to start in your home country, and there are very clear paths to doing that.
Yeah, and that's very good advice. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Obviously, lots of questions about taxes. So let's just summarize them all into the pressing question here. If I move to an European country, will I be double taxed?
Look, tax questions are always a bit of a minefield, if you will, because it's so, again, applicable to your personal circumstances. But generally speaking, European countries will have double taxation treaties with the US and a number of other countries in the world. So probably you have to declare where you live, and potentially, depending on if you're in the US, you're always going to have to declare your worldwide income. There's certain things and considerations before you leave the US as well. Really important to talk to someone that kind of understand, taxes in the country that you're moving to, but also can give you really good, solid advice when you exit from your home country. Definitely in the US. But yeah, as a general rule, you wouldn't be double taxed because of the exemptions and the treaties, but it's something that needs to be analyzed by professionals. Obviously, a lot of the countries, Portugal's got one of the best ones at the moment, which is a friendly kind of 10-year tax program for non-domiciled citizens, which is again worth taking a look. But always get advice for tax is very important.
Yeah, and I think, Patricia, we reached the end. Thank you for being so candid on your answers. It's really important to have an honest overview of every situation. And when it's not possible to do over a live. We will be available, so you can book a call with one of our specialists. Again, I'll say there are questions here that we are not answering yet. It's basically because it's humanly impossible. There are lots of questions, but you will get your answer. You do not worry about that. So just keep jotting them down here. But yeah, so we finally got to the end of this. And Patricia, thank you very much. Thank you for all your viewers, for trusting us and watching us on our Global Talks and Global Lives. Global Talks is a podcast, by the way, which we have a new topic to explore every month here. So thank you all, and I hope you to see in the next Global Lives.
Thank you so much, Zeni. Thank you, everyone, for joining.